I love so much about the new motion for discovery sanctions filed by Abrego Garcia's lawyers with Judge Zinnes. I'm beside myself. I don't know where to start. I got a pretty good idea for this hot take, though. They are now asking that the federal judge order that all cell phones and personal devices, specifically of Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, be turned over to a special master and or the court for review, because in their argument, the government can no longer be trusted with telling the truth in court, especially about the exchange of documents, and they've now forfeited their right to withhold their personal devices. Pam Bondi, don't destroy anything. It'll be called spoliation of evidence, and you don't want to get caught doing that, do you? I'm Michael Popok. You're on MeidasTouch. Let's talk about what's buried on page 22 and 23 of the new motion for sanctions. I did an overview of it, but let me dive into, I love finding those little Easter eggs that are inside of there. So there's two main sanctions that Abrego Garcia's lawyers, that's the guy that was sent in the middle of the night with 200 other people to El Salvador, except he was a special circumstance because he had an order in his back pocket from a federal immigration judge that said he couldn't be sent to El Salvador. An error of epic proportion that the government had to concede. They fired the lawyer who made that concession in court. In fact, they just got around in the last couple of days to withdraw his name from the list of lawyers for the government. He's already long gone because he made the mistake of telling the truth to a federal judge, compliant with his ethical rules. And so we had that happen, an immediate lawsuit filed by the U.S. wife of Abrego Garcia. It lands in Judge Zinnes in Maryland because that's where they're from, and we're off and running. April 10th, Supreme Court ruling in favor of Abrego Garcia, ordering that the Trump administration immediately take steps to facilitate his release from El Salvador. They then play the shell game. Oh, he's there. We don't know he's there. Oh, we can't do anything about it. It's now El Salvador's problem. Everything, every excuse under the book. The dog ate my Abrego Garcia, And then they went into this camp. They had a two-pronged campaign, all played out in front of the judge. One, taunting the administration. Yeah, you're not going to get Abrego Garcia. He's never coming home. I mean, literally saying that in various news conferences and press releases and interviews with Donald Trump, particularly. And then posting things on social media, taunting the Supreme Court, who already ruled 9-0 that Trump was wrong. And we're sitting here waiting. The clock is just turning. Sands of time are moving down. Abrego Garcia still stuck since April. We're now towards the end of June in El Salvador. Okay. Then they finally bring the guy back. Yay. But not for the due process requirements of Judge Zinnes, but to stand for some phony charges in the Middle District of Tennessee, of all places, because they say he got into a traffic stop 3 years ago and something happened and now they're reinvestigating and indicting him over it. All right, let's put that aside for a minute. That doesn't address the contempt of court conduct of the Trump administration in front of Judge Zinnes. And now in this new motion for sanctions, there's going to be two motions. One, a motion for discovery sanctions. The other one, a motion for contempt. And the reason one goes before the other is that the discovery sanctions are what they need. They're telling the judge, you gave us intensive 2-week discovery, and we didn't get a darn thing out of the Trump administration. Not from the depositions, not from the, which are questions and answers under oath in person, not in interrogatories, written questions, not in documents, nothing. They've been stonewalling you and us, and it undermines our ability to bring our motion for contempt. So here's the solution. One, appoint a special master. That's an officer of the court, responds to the judge and investigates. And here's my favorite part. Give us the cell phones for Pam Bondi. So here we have on page 22. Let's start with 21. Little C, section C, investigation into willful noncompliance by appointment of a special master. Alternatively, the court, if the court is disinclined to order production of purportedly privileged documents, it could appoint a special master to investigate the government's willful noncompliance. Among the facts plaintiffs suggest should be taken as established for purposes of this action, it is the incontrovertible finding that the government officials responding to discovery did not just refuse to obey the court's orders, but willfully sought to impede the discovery process. Divining the identities of these officials is made difficult by the noncompliance itself, which is why it is appropriate for the court to enter an order an investigation into which government officials willfully evaded the court's discovery orders. Which ones? This could entail the court deeming waived all non-state secrets privileges that the government has asserted and ordering the prompt production of those documents, ordering the documents for which the government has asserted state secrets privilege to be produced for an in-camera review by the judge, a secret review by the judge, and ordering the personal devices of key officials such as Bondi, with other people crossed out, to be turned over for in-camera review as well. And then they cite case law that stands for that proposition. I love this part. I love this part. You know right now that Pam Bondi is busy on social media postings saying that, unelected federal judge is considering ordering my personal cell phone. I got news for her. Here's a warning for her. Since this suit has been filed, if not before, and as a government record, and including your personal cell phone, you have an obligation to preserve and not destroy, or what we call spoliate, evidence. And if you do that, you think this motion for sanctions is bad, this motion seeking about 5 or 6 adverse inferences against the Trump administration as a setup for a future motion for contempt, wait till you see what happens, Pam, if you sorry to be on a first name basis, if you start destroying and deleting things from your personal cell phone and the others along with you. Because even though we can't tell the names right now because it's got black tape under it because it's redacted, they know, they can see it because they're given the unredacted version. So I don't care what sweet nothings are being blown into your ear, Pam, by Stephen Miller or Todd Blanche or anybody around you, Alina Habba. Don't do it, because there's forensic ways to discover. There's whole industries devoted to forensic examination of personal devices and computers. I've handled at least a dozen cases where that was a major issue. And we turned devices over, had them downloaded onto special software, which is able to recover most of what is eliminated. There's ghosts in the machine that can be discovered and then put on a database and a spreadsheet and analyzed. And if it's determined that you did do it, there will be keystroke evidence that shows who did it, when they did it, and how they did it. So it's shocking for me that I got to give a warning to the Attorney General of the United States, but I got to give a warning to the Attorney General of the United States. And I'm glad you're here. This is the type of things we cover here on the MeidasTouch Network and on Legal AF. Come on over to Legal AF, the YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button there as we continue to grow that channel. We're going to get to 700,000 subscribers with your help this month. I know it. I just know it. Legal AF has a Substack, Legal AF the Substack, and I got a brand new podcast, as long as we're talking about new things, called The Intersection every Tuesday night on the MeidasTouch Network right here with you. So until my next report, I'm Michael. Can't get your fill of Legal AF? Me neither. That's why we formed the Legal AF Substack. Every time we mention something in a hot take, whether it's a court filing or a oral argument, come over to the Substack. You'll find the court filing and the oral argument there, including a daily roundup that I do called, wait for it, Morning AF. What else? All the other contributors from Legal AF are there as well. We got some new reporting. We got interviews. We got ad-free versions of the podcast and hot takes. Where? Legal AF on Substack. Come over now to free subscribe.